can we grow pepper plants from cuttings? So that's what I'm going to explore in this video. So I have some Lunchbox sweet peppers in the garden that I've grown this year. They have done very well, been very productive. In fact, this is the most productive pepper crop I have ever had, right? I've specifically devoted a lot of attention to it this season so that it could be successful, and I know a lot more about how to grow peppers now and going into this season than I ever did in the past. But what I want to do today is I want to see if I can propagate pepper plants from cuttings, right? In a couple of days we're going to get a frost, right? It's the fall season, so it's getting to be the end of the growing season. So here we have, these are some pepper cuttings that I took. These are the Lunchbox sweet peppers. So I took these cuttings from some plants in my garden almost a month ago, and at least one of them is actually starting to root. And again, I just took the cuttings at an angle, right? So I didn't let me pull this one out here and show you what I'm talking about. Right, so we can kind of see that the cutting I took is at an angle, right? I didn't cut it flat across, but I cut it at an angle. This can help with a little bit more of water absorption so that the plant can get the water that it needs. And we can see some little rootlets or roots coming out. So what we can do here is we can just go ahead and make a little bit of a hole here, and then we can just kind of wrap that one right in there, and the roots will find their way around. Okay, I don't want these roots to stay in the water for too long, because that can get kind of anoxic potentially for some plants that can be particularly sensitive to that. But we see that some of these others have not really rooted out too much, although it almost looks like they're kind of thinking about it, at least like along the stem. Like those might be some potential rootlets. You know, I might have to, or might be able to recut this too, to have a fresh wound in there for water access. I don't know if that's necessary or not, but and it's good to refresh this water as often as possible, maybe once a day, once every 2 days. So these plants, the peppers, don't usually root quite this way, quite as easily as like tomatoes do, but they still can. So I'm going to give this guy some water and see how he does. Thank you so much for checking out this video on propagating pepper plants from cuttings. Overall, I am a proponent of sticking with propagating these plants by seed, because that way I get a little bit more genetic variability, more resilience in that point. At least as of now, starting them from seed seems to overall result in a pretty good germination rate, as opposed to like 1 out of 5 cuttings or whatever that grew apparent roots. Right now I am wondering if the other 5 or 6 or whatever pepper cuttings that are in the glass, if I should either wait a little longer to see if they develop roots, or to see and just plant them out right into the soil, or like into pots, I mean, because on some of them there are like a little like bumps along the stem that may suggest some sort of a beginnings of like you know, of a root system taking hold there. So you know, there's a lot for me to continue to learn from this, but in the meantime, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.